With there being more Transported to Another World anime released in the last 10 years than even the most hardcore of otaku could keep up with, it's hard to know which of them is worth watching. Thankfully, even with the massive amounts of trash isekai and lackluster trapped in a video game stories out there, we can see Overlord sitting at the top. So, here are 10 reasons you should get trapped watching this anime.
The points given are just our opinion. This video also contains minor spoilers for the anime. You have been warned.
Number 1. The lore. The first thing that caught our eye when watching this show is just how real it feels. Now, this is not because we go around shooting magic or something, but because of the amazing job this show does at setting up the world, characters, and lore. There isn't an item in the show that doesn't have some intricate backstory. Each character has well-defined origins. Even if not all the details are given right at the start of the story, you can rest easy knowing that everything in this world is there for a reason. I have massive respect for Kugane Moriyama, the author of the light novel, for his attention to detail when it comes to crafting the world of his story. Our MC has a rich backstory with tons of insight given for his motivations and how he sees his NPCs turned subjects, with his knowledge of Yggdrasil having a massive impact on his effectiveness within his newfound world.
Number 2. Ainz magic form. Ainz, our main character and overlord of Nazarick, is an extremely formidable being. Main combat style being of a magic caster, but not just your basic wizard. Mention that a regular human can use tier 3 magic, whereas Ainz can casually use tiers way above 3. We've even seen him using something referred to as super tier magic, which is above tier 10. His arsenal of extremely powerful spells more often than not mean instant death for anyone that goes against him. This is demonstrated in a fight between Ainz and the Sunlight Scripture. When faced with one of their stronger looking summons, he casually uses a spell called Hellflame, which looks like a tiny flame on the end of his finger, but it completely consumes the summon, ending it in a single move. Another one of his awesome spells is Shark Cyclone. If you enjoyed Sharknado, you're gonna love this. There are plenty of other huge magic flexes like this, but you should really see them for yourself.
Number 3. Raven Black Warrior. The Raven Black Warrior, Momonga, is an extremely powerful warrior who wears full plate armor and carries around 2 massive swords. He is easily able to slice apart his foes, even extremely resilient ogres, and is rumored to be the strongest adventurer in the kingdom. So, I'm sure you expect him to be a man who has spent his entire life training in the way of the blade. A man who eats, sleeps, and breathes swordsmanship. If that's what you're thinking, then I'm happy to tell you that you are completely wrong, because this man is none other than our MC, Ainz. Despite the fact that Ainz is a magic caster, he is so OP that even his Smurf persona is considered to be one of the strongest. As his level is so much higher than everyone else's, his base stats make him physically stronger than any warrior the kingdom could put forward. Which version of Ainz do you prefer, magic caster or warrior? Let us know in the comments below.
Number 4. The Hierarchy. The Great Tomb of Nazarick has a well thought out chain of command. At the top we have Ainz, who is the guild master, followed by the other guild members referred to as the 40 Supreme Beings. After these we have the NPCs, having each been created by the Supreme Beings as a defense for Nazarick. The head of the NPCs is the overseer known as Albedo, who resides close to Ainz's side and takes orders directly from him to command the other guardians. We also have Sebes, who acts as the right hand to Ainz, going on missions for him and dealing with tasks away from the Great Tomb. Sebes is also in charge of the Pleiades 6-star battle maids, who were designed to be the last line of defense for Nazarick's throne room. There's also Pandora's Actor, who is an NPC created by Ainz himself and is essentially the guild's vault keeper. Guarding the 1st to 3rd floors is Shalltear Bloodfallen, who has a collection of vampire brides that fight under her. Floor 5 is Cocytus. Floor 6 are the Dark Elf twins Mari and Aura, the latter having pets that serve her. Floor 7 is defended by Demiurge, who is the commander of the NPC defense for Nazarick, having a group of evil lords as subordinates, 3 of which are Envy, Greed and Wrath. The guardians of the 4th and 8th floor are named Gargantua and Victim, but we're yet to see them. Ainz also has a pet named Hammerske, who even though very low, we still consider him a part of the hierarchy. With this much structure in Season 1 for Nazarick, we can't wait to see who's going to join in the future.
Number 5. The Summons. With any world that has magic, you can expect there to be quite a few summons. This was of course true in Yggdrasil, and is still true in this new world. In the first episode we see Ainz summon a flame elemental, and as the story continues we see more varying types of summons. Demiurge seems to have at least a few demons working under him who we believe to be summons. The Sunlight Scripture has numerous different angels they can summon. We see 3 during the first season: Archangel Flame, Principality Observation, and Dominion Authority, which Ainz recognizes from Yggdrasil. But as Ainz is a necromancer, we also see a huge variety of undead, some of which are skeletons, zombies, and death knights. Some of the other floor guardians also have summons, with Shalltear able to summon her household, which is a group of vampire-themed familiars such as bats, rats, and wolves. Oh my. An enemy we talk about later called Khajiit also summons undead, such as skeletons, zombies, and even skeletal dragons.
Number 6. Adventure Ranking System. It's not only Nazarick that has a hierarchy system, adventurers also abide by one. This is shown through the metal plates they wear, beginning at copper and rising through iron, silver, gold, platinum, mithril, auriculum, and finally adamantite. This rank demonstrates the worth of the adventurer to any quest giver, and also the tier of quests they're allowed to do. We mostly see copper and iron tier adventurers in Season 1, but we're told that there are only 3 adamantite ranks in all of the Riestes kingdom. Shows just how strong you have to be to get this honourable rank.
Number 7. The Villains. What is a good story without some good villains? And to be honest, because of how this show is, we're going to have to define villains as people that go against our main character. Because in most stories, our Bone Daddy, not sorry, would be the villain. Thankfully, we do see plenty of people trying to get in the way of the plans that Ainz and the rest of Nazarick has started. Members of a religious group known as the Sunlight Scripture are destroying a village near Nazarick. By chance, Ainz takes an interest in the town and a warrior sent to protect it, which is sad for them as he kills them for getting in his way. But the villains that really stand out to us are Khajiit and Clementine. These two want to turn the city of Rantel into a city of the undead. So you would think that Ainz, an undead himself, would be fine with this. Unfortunately for them though, this disrupts some of his plans. And they even kill some adventurers he was using to spread his name. So, of course, they have to become his new stepping stones. I personally want to take this moment to also mention the amazing voice acting for Clementine in the Japanese dub. During our fight with Ainz, Aoyuki, the VA for this character, does an amazing job making the character as unhinged as possible. If you are typically a dub watcher, I recommend watching the sub just for her performance.
Number 8. The Shalltear Fight. One of the best fights in Season 1 is Ainz vs Shalltear. Now I know what you're thinking, how can a Floor Guardian rebel and fight the Guildmaster? Well, the use of a world-class item by an unknown assailant brainwashed Shalltear. On realising this, Ainz seemed extremely nervous, but decided to take on Shalltear alone. The remaining Floor Guardians were also worried, and predicted Ainz only stood a 3 to 7 chance of winning. The fight was similar to a boss fight of an MMO, as Shalltear stood idle until attacked. Ainz took advantage of this and enhanced himself with many buffs. Fighting in his magic form, he seemed to be launching huge attack after huge attack, but Shalltear was fairly unfazed. By using her unique Pipette Lance and sacrificing her own summons, she was able to regain all her lost HP, while Ainz was slowly losing MP. After a long and awesome battle, Ainz pulled the trump card, the cash shop. Yep, that's right, Ainz is pay to win. He had consumable items that allowed him to switch his weapon. The weapons were his past guildmates, and were all extremely powerful. Due to this tactic, Shalltear couldn't react fast enough against the onslaught of different attack types, and in the end, was finally defeated. But credit to her, it's the first time we've seen Ainz look like he's actually struggling in a fight.
Number 9. Ainz's attitude flexes. Ainz has many great and enduring qualities once you move past the whole evil overlord thing, but to me his funniest quality is the arrogance he has in this new world. And I mean, it makes sense. He was the guild leader for one of the strongest guilds in Yggdrasil, and was considered an extremely powerful fighter in it. Now that he's in this new world where his strength seems to surpass most legends, I think he has the right to be arrogant, and the way he does it is hilarious. From casually one-hitting enemies with seemingly weak attacks, to mocking people to their face for being weak. This man can't help but be flexing on these fools. After defeating all the Sunlight Scripture's so-called trump cards, he mocks its leader before killing them all. While fighting Clementine in his melee form, he gives himself massive handicaps while fighting, and still has the audacity to tell her all the things he is learning while fighting her. Even in his toughest fight of the season versus Shalltear, he mocks her for not being able to see through his numerous feints and lies he uses throughout the fight. The fact that all of his followers refer to him as the greatest of the 41 beings means that this guy's ego is bigger than the world he was transported to. Thankfully, he has the strength to back it up.
Number 10. The Ending Teases. At the end of most seasons, we get a little cliffhanger for the next. Well, Overlord doesn't mess around with a measly 1 tease. We get lots. From Sebes being on a secret mission, Ainz refusing Mare from repairing the forest after his fight with Shalltear to intentionally cause rumours, Albedo suggesting they take over a lizardman camp to create an army, the slain bureaucracy discussing Shalltear and setting up surveillance around Ainz, Henry and Lizzie head into Calm Village, where another member of the Pleiades is waiting for them, along with the ever-upgrading town thanks to the goblin summons. There's also a tease to a more forgettable character who we saw running away from Shalltear called Brain. He's found sheltering from the rain by a man named Gazeth. And finally we see Momon, the 3rd Adamantite class in Riestes, in the Adventurer's Hall, where they're told there's no job available that's worthy for them. When suddenly Momon receives a message and leaves immediately. He requests all Guardians to gather, Victim and Gargantua included, as this time they're all going in together. Going where we don't know, but we can't wait to find out. The summary. Overall, Overlord sits at the top end of most Isekai fan lists, us included. With enticing lore and vast world building paired nicely with the story and combat, along with the build up for Season 2 and Season 4 being released later this year, there's plenty of Overlord for you to enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, or let us know which anime to cover next in the comments. We've been to Baka Talks, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.